It's a lovely evening in North London. It's almost a clear blue sky. There's a plane that has been flying overhead, and you thought, hold on, has somebody been a little bit mischievous here with a banner maybe from an Arsenal supporter to greet the Tottenham supporters? But no, love is in the air. Mimi, I love you, will you marry me? That was the message for the plane that flies and buzzes around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, whereas the impressive South Bank, that towering stand away towards our right with the mosaic to dare is to do.
It's a romantic thought though, Deno, isn't it? Eh?
Well,
is that out of the Ian Dennis playbook, or?
Actually, it's not far off, actually. I don't think there's much love lost though between these two clubs, is there?
Absolutely not. It's actually a bit ironic, isn't it, that that's flying over the stadium right now. But, you know, we're talking about Spurs here. They have to use this atmosphere tonight, surely. I mean, it's amazing inside this stadium at the moment, and the crowd could play a huge part in the end result today.
I saw it the other day on Twitter. John O'Blaine, Johnny Statman as sometimes he's referred to, he said it was the first North London derby in front of a full house in Tottenham for 5 years. The last 2 seasons, of course, COVID affected. 2,000 fans were here in December 2020. The previous 2 years, of course, it was at Wembley. So since April 2017, when in fact White Hart Lane was even then partially demolished, there's a North London derby here in Tottenham, and the atmosphere is certainly one to relish. The team news as we're about to get underway on BBC Radio 5 Live. Spurs have made the one change. Romero is out with a hip injury. Sanchez replaces him. So Lloris in goal, Dyer, Sanchez, Davis the back three. Emerson, Sessegnon are the wing backs, Bentancur and Højbjerg in the centre of midfield. Son, Harry Kane and Kulusevski are the three up front. For Arsenal, they're unchanged from the side that beat Leeds. So Ramsdale is in goal, to back four of Cedric, Gabriel, Holding and Tomiyasu, Xhaka and Elneny, Saka, Ødegaard, Martinelli and Eddie Nketiah. But this bowl-like arena on a sunny evening in North London with so much at stake for Champions League qualification, it is crackling, and I hope that's coming across whether you're listening to BBC Radio 5 or indeed through the BBC Sounds app. Spurs in their white shirts and navy shorts in this first half, playing from right to left, against Arsenal of course in their red and white tops and their white shorts. Just listen to the noise, cascading its way down that towering stand away towards our right that holds 17,500. It's an impressive sight, it's an impressive noise, Matt Upson.
It really is, and I think it's interesting that from kick-off the ball went back to Aaron Ramsdale and he just didn't take any chances. He put his foot through the ball, thought right, I'm going to launch one right on top of Sessegnon's head. We're going to get Cedric and Saka up the pitch and just try and apply some pressure.
Martinelli's done well, crosses from the left, headed out by Dyer. Holding, slight hesitation, just nicked it away from Kane. Gabriel, the boos and the whistles are because Arsenal are in possession. Martinelli, who caused Leeds United all sorts of problems down that left-hand side at the weekend. The ball there is played back by Xhaka. A cacophony of boos inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Arsenal are being forced back. Tomiyasu playing at left back, up towards Nketiah, up in the air it goes. You'll certainly tell when Spurs are back in possession. Here is Ødegaard, threads it through. Nketiah takes it into the penalty area. Sliding across was Dyer. Something that was thrown in the direction of Nketiah. There was an ooh from Matt Upson.
There was an ooh because I thought Dyer went to ground. I'm not too sure how much of the ball he got. It looked like it was one of those tackles that the ball could have just popped through his legs a little bit. And it's interesting, we were talking about Nketiah and I mentioned how much more physical he is, and I think it's actually a dive from Nketiah. He goes down, I don't think Eric Dyer gets any of the ball. He slides alongside him and Nketiah goes to ground to try and win the penalty. The referee just waves play on and just tells him to get on with it, but he's certainly looking a lot more physical. He challenged really well for the ball there, won it back, and then Ødegaard found him with a really nice little pass, and it's been a good start in the opening couple of minutes from Arsenal.
Paul Tierney is the referee. He actually just had a word in the ear of Eddie Nketiah.
It's a dive, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Saw Dan James at that last night for Leeds United before his reckless red card against Chelsea, who of course are almost there as far as Champions League football is concerned, but not mathematically in third place. But these two North London clubs scrapping it out for fourth. Back pass to Lloris, had to get rid of that one quite quickly, managed to get it out to Davies, but it's won back by Arsenal. Cedric high up the pitch, Ødegaard's going to shoot, takes a deflection and picked up by Hugo Lloris, who tonight is making his 20th appearance in a North London derby, and that is actually the most for a single club in the history between these two. Sol Campbell actually holds the record with 22, but of course he played for both, moving one ahead of Ray Parlour. Hugo Lloris, the Tottenham goalkeeper, all in green, away towards our right hand side. We actually did the corresponding fixture earlier in the season. Who would have thought then that these two would be fighting out for Champions League football, because where they finished last year, certainly it wasn't on the horizon at the start of the season.
You would never have thought it of that fixture, would you? You thought it was way off, and both teams were having to go away and have a long think about what they wanted to achieve. And well, you have to say both teams have done that, and they've come back, and they've come back with something that's far better, much more impressive. And I think you're seeing that this evening. It's been a good start from Arsenal, hasn't it? We talked about how they'd approached this game, but they're pressing really high. Eric Dyer with the ball just outside the 18-yard box, and now with Lloris, who's under a lot of pressure from Nketiah and Saka. Martinelli high up the pitch, Xhaka all the way up there as well.
There was an element of frustration there. Lloris, as he says, was coming under pressure from Nketiah. He passed the ball to Sanchez, but Sanchez, right side of his penalty area, seemed reluctant to go forward, and he's now just been caught in possession, and the crowd certainly were on his case.
He's not comfortable on the ball though, Deno. I don't think he's that comfortable on the ball at the best of times, let alone with this type of situation.
Now they've released Kulusevski away on that right hand side, held up by Gabriel, helped out by Elneny, and the referee's assistant on that far side raises his flag. I just wonder whether that's almost something that Antonio Conte said, to try and invite Arsenal onto them so they can counter-attack.
Definitely. I mean, if I'm Mikel Arteta, I'm looking at that change and I'm saying to my players, get after him, get after his first touch, especially when he receives the ball from Lloris, because I think he's a little bit indecisive, Deno. I don't think he's got that clear picture about where he wants to play early. It's so crucial as a centre-back. When you receive the ball, you have to have a picture. You have that first touch and your head's down and you're not too sure, and there's big pressure bearing down on you. You end up making a mistake, and he's been caught on the ball once.
Ramsdale with a free kick for Arsenal inside his own penalty area. Matt Upson, the former England international, with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Ødegaard brings it off the chest. It's been a confident start, an assured start by Arsenal in this, the 170th league meeting in the North London derby, where Arsenal have triumphed 68 occasions in the past, Tottenham just 54. As the ball out towards Martinelli, just hit too much down the middle by Gabriel, and through to Hugo Lloris, 0-0.
It was on though, wouldn't it? Martinelli really timed his run. If that left-footed pass from Gabriel was good enough, it just in the channel even, not a straight pass. I think Martinelli timed his run really well and just ran off the back of Emerson Royal.
As you say, Spurs really have to win. A draw's not good enough. And of course Arsenal know that 3 points will secure qualification for the top floor. Back to Ramsdale it goes, brought it down very well actually, around knee height, cleared it in almost a luminous orange goalkeeping outfit away towards our left hand side. This is Xhaka.
He's not played short once, Ramsdale, has he? Every time he's got the ball, he's looked to go long and just get the ball up the pitch.
Kulusevski dispossesses Tomiyasu. Emerson's going to go on the overlap. Kulusevski leans into Tomiyasu, who tries to come back at him. Emerson right hand side, level with the penalty area. First cross didn't beat the man. Xhaka strikes the back of the Swiss international, and out of play it goes for a throw. But at least Tottenham get an opportunity to get into the Arsenal half, because Arsenal have made such a good start here. 7 minutes played. Højbjerg with a low cross into the penalty area. Gabriel clears in front of Ramsdale, who'd already dived down low inside his 6-yard area, out for a Tottenham throw.
Yeah, I don't mind that from Gabriel. if you're in doubt, kick it out. And I think you can't take any risks there, just put your foot through it.
Bentancur clipping on the cross, Sessegnon dropping to his knees as he tried to get on the end of it. This is Saka tussling for the ball deep inside his own half. Spurs looking to put Arsenal under pressure. Cedric with a clearance, and Nketiah midway through his own half manages to get it back to Xhaka, out to Martinelli over the halfway line, far side. Martinelli's got a bit of area to run into on space on that left hand side. Emerson goes across towards him. Martinelli turns, waits, left corner of the area, waits once more. They've doubled up on him now as he plays the ball back. Xhaka gives it back to Martinelli, still trying to get the better of Emerson. Xhaka remains in some support, plays a flat ball in, cleared first time by Dyer on the volley inside the penalty area, only as far as Gabriel, just outside the centre circle, to this near side the right, where Cedric waits in field. This is Saka, slips, might run through into the penalty area, picked up by Lloris. 0-0 Matt Upson.
He's a tricky customer, Martinelli, isn't he? I think we've seen there the ball went to him 2 or 3 times. He just wants to try and isolate either Emerson or Davinson Sanchez. At the moment they're doubling up on him already in this game, which means there's going to be space elsewhere.
Son's away, he's picked up the ball on the left hand side, he's running at the heart now of the Arsenal defence, and then he's held up and shepherded away by Gabriel. Thought he might have had his heels clipped there by Gabriel, but referee Paul Tierney was had a good view of that and says there was no free kick. And Elneny plays it forward to Ødegaard, who holds on to the ball now to Nketiah, surrounded by Dyer. He runs out towards that far hand side, the back heel didn't quite come off, gives it to Højbjerg. Højbjerg with the cross, too deep, drifts out of play for a goal kick, still remains goalless.
Oh, take a breath, eh? Yeah. Some start, isn't it? Frantic start to this game. Really loved what Gabriel did a moment ago when Son was steaming towards him. His body shape was excellent. He gave Son the option, just gave him the channel, went, go on then, I'm going to steer you away from the goal. And Son wasn't able to, and then he stepped in and made a really good challenge, really assured defending from Gabriel in that moment.
We're at the business end of the season, and 5 Live is bringing you all the key action, and I'm delighted to say we'll do exactly the same next season too. Another 3 years after the latest round of Premier League rights, BBC Radio 5 Live, more Premier League games than anyone else, something to look forward to for the next 3 seasons. And certainly with this North London derby, the FA Cup final on Saturday, Sunday West Ham and Manchester City. Manchester City could take another step towards the title. Everton Brentford, a vital game down at the bottom of the table. The Women's FA Cup final on Sunday on Sports Extra, and next Wednesday the Europa League final live from Seville, Eintracht Frankfurt against Rangers. So much live football on BBC Radio 5 Live. That's how we like it.
Well, meanwhile, Son's been laying on the floor for the last minute or so, and Rob Holding came through the back of him with a tackle. Just a foul he gave away, but it was actually quite clever because, I say clever, he's just managed to leave a little bit on Son without the referee seeing, and just put his knee into the back of him. And they're looking to unsettle Son a little bit. They've seen his start and how he drove with the ball then. And I think, getting into him early and not allowing him to build up a head of steam is certainly part of the game plan here from Arsenal.
Well, the ball has been headed on and then headed away. That was by Holding, 6 yards inside his own half, picked up by Højbjerg. Ball then played forward to Son, who's trying to roll away from Holding, and he's in the end grappled to the ground. Son's trying to get away, and Holding is doing exactly that. He's living up to his name. He wouldn't release Son, who was getting more and more frustrated, and Paul Tierney's going to have a word, the referee.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second time. Holding certainly trying to ruffle the feathers of Son there, almost like a wrestling match at one point, wasn't it? Holding just kind of like threw Son over the top of his head, laying on the floor. It was like a real wrestle, but again, Son getting the ball rolled into his feet. Holding's really tight. He's making the foul, but it's not enough to get a yellow card. Obviously, if he repeat offence, eventually the referee's going to have to book him. He doesn't want that, Rob Holding, but he's used those 2 opportunities just to unsettle Son, who's having a chat with the referee now, and he's normally super calm, isn't he? You don't see him get too rattled, Son, very often.
No, you don't. Paul Tierney again has had a word with both players. Diagonal free kick from Tottenham out towards the right hand side. Still 0-0 on 5 Live. Emerson plays the ball back to Sanchez. He's over the halfway line. He passes the ball in field. Højbjerg helps it out on its way towards the left hand side. Davis waits. Arteta's out of his technical area. Very casual looking. Same for Antonio Conte. Both pointing, both barking out the orders. instructing their players and living every minute for what is such a vital game as far as Champions League football is concerned for next season. Arteta almost micromanaging down there, nudged on towards Harry Kane. Harry Kane's shot, or cross rather, charged down, a lot of the pace taken off the ball, easily picked up by Ramsdale inside his near post. 13 minutes played on 5 Live. It's Tottenham Hotspur 0, it's Arsenal 0.
Great start from Gabriel at the back from Arsenal. He's a big player for them this evening, alongside Rob Holding, with Tommy Asu at left back, Cedric at right back. It's not Arsenal's strongest back four, it has to be said, but he started the game really well. It's going to be important for him to play well tonight.
Ball rolled out from Hugo Lloris to Sanchez, gets it back from Bentancur. There's been a couple of occasions where they've really put pressure on Sanchez. Arsenal on this occasion waited and just backed off him. Here is Son. Plays it in field. Bentancur to Højbjerg. Plays it out towards Sanchez, right of the back three. Emerson's ahead of him, coming in now off that touchline. Sanchez has joined him, short and square. And then back to Bentancur and towards Eric Dyer. Helps it straight away in the centre circle out to Ben Davies. Over the halfway line he comes, with Spurs white shirts playing from right to left as we look here in this impressive Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Dyer looks for the ball over the top, straight down the throat of goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale.
No space there at all, was there? Arsenal had sat off very deep. Dyer tried to play the ball over the top, but literally they were stood on the edge of their own 18-yard box, and Ramsdale caught the ball on the full in the end. And at the moment Arsenal appear to be sitting deep at times, but then when they want to go and press Spurs, when Lloris has the ball, they're really doing it all together very well as a team. Xhaka's joining in as well, so we've almost got 5 players really trying to press them with the ball.
Super noise inside this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Holding right in the centre circle. With a bad ball out to Martinelli, rolls away from one challenge of Emerson, met by Sanchez. No nonsense defending there, clatters the ball away. Romero's such a huge miss for Tottenham.
Massive miss, he really is. I think he's been brilliant of late. Finally got his place in the team. He's had a rotten run of injury, and it's not been at that happy a time since signing for the club, but the last probably certainly 5 or 6 games you're really starting to see the player that they bought. Very combative, very comfortable, getting tight, going and anticipating, stepping in front, winning headers. I think he's a really good partner for Eric Dyer, who just wants to kind of sweep up a little bit and get on the ball. They probably complement each other quite well.
Martinelli, he's got round the back left-hand side. Martinelli into the penalty area, pulls the ball back. Excellent defending by Ben Davies. Left of the back three, goes across towards the right-hand side and deals with it. Good covering.
Top covering, wasn't it? Ben Davies released himself into that cut-back position. Martinelli, lovely 1-2 out wide, gets behind Emerson, pulls the ball back, but Ben Davies read it so early, as you mentioned, Deno, and just got his foot in it. Brilliant defending.
16 minutes played, yet to have a serious chance so far in this North London derby. Of course, as we said, we did the game together earlier in the season. By this stage, Arsenal were already a goal up. Emile Smith-Rowe, in fact, they were 3 up after 34 minutes at the Emirates, but it's been very tight in terms of chances so far. Cedric's forward ball, Dyer slides in on Nketiah, ball lifted forward, touched by Davies. Saka, that'll be a yellow card. Davies there, held him, almost with a leg clamp. There comes the yellow card. It was the shoulder barge by Saka on Davies. He got away, and then Davies just locked him in a leg lock and brought him down, because he knew if he was away he was in trouble. Yellow card.
I mean, the shoulder charge from Saka was just about fair enough. It was, they were both level for the ball, and he just body checked him, and Davies goes to the floor. Saka's stolen the ball, and then from the floor Davies just tries, he literally clamps one of his legs, doesn't he? Just doesn't let him get away with it. Not great to get a yellow card this early in the game in this type of fixture. Only 16 minutes gone, and Ben Davies has to tread carefully.
You said before that it was like a wrestling match. It was almost like a wrestling manoeuvre that from Ben Davies. I just wonder if Antonio Conte's just been shown a yellow card. Yeah. He's certainly been had a talking to from Paul Tierney. Ryan Mason was having his 2 penalties as well.
I don't think he was happy with the shoulder charge from Saka, but it looked fair game to me. They were just about shoulder to shoulder.
Ødegaard waits to take the free kick. We'll clarify whether the Tottenham manager was booked. while, this free kick 0-0. Ødegaard on this near side, the right, going to take it left-footed, strikes it in now, headed out by Højbjerg, comes all the way out towards Cedric, and on the half volley plays it in, and Lloris was there to pick up that ball, and he looks for the early distribution, but El-Neni, shielding that back four, heads it away. Mohamed El-Neni, who now passes the ball towards Saka, loses out to Sessegnon, and then back with Davis to Lloris, who actually puts his left foot on the ball and brings things to a standstill. Not that it feels calm in terms of the atmosphere. The ball is played forward now to Bentancur, and Bentancur is away from Ødegaard, and he's got Kane now making the run out towards his right hand side. He switches the play, Sessegnon with the cross into the penalty area, headed out by Gabriel. Break on now for Arsenal, excellent challenge by Emerson, and then Sanchez wins the ball for Nketiah. It is a fierce North London derby, loving every minute of it.
What a start. It's just been a brilliant game so far. Totally fixed on this match, not even looking at the clock. I mean, I can't believe nearly 20 minutes has gone by. It's just flown. That is the tempo of this match at the moment.
Just for clarification, Conte was shown a yellow card by referee Paul Tierney. Looking forward to this game so much. The atmosphere is certainly living up to every expectation. It's been a long time since Arsenal ventured to this part of North London with a crowd to encounter, and the Spurs supporters are certainly making up for lost time. Dyer out towards Sanchez. Sanchez back to Dyer. Arsenal back off. The England international form of late has been very, very good. Højbjerg goes square. Sanchez comes onto the ball midway through the Arsenal half. Out towards Emerson, drives the ball in, headed out by El-Neni. And Nketiah trying to hold it up, picks it out well. But Arsenal come under pressure, and Højbjerg wins it back midway through the Arsenal half from Ødegaard. Now finds Bentancur. Bentancur runs forward, the Uruguayan. Out now to Sessegnon, just comes in a little touch off the left touchline. Down below us, Spurs play from right to left, still 0-0. Bentancur and Højbjerg exchange passes. Emerson across to Kulusevski, level with the penalty area, cuts in field now, left-footed ball, Son is there, Sessegnon is there, the referee's given a penalty. There was a push there, Paul Tierney spotted it, and Tottenham Hotspur have been awarded a penalty in the 21st minute.
Wow, that is a big call from the referee, but having seen it live, I just feel that he's looking at Cedric, and even though he's in and amongst the players at the back post, he doesn't really make a genuine attempt to head the ball. He's just looking for the contact, and he smashes into the back of Son. I mean, it's the first real controlled passage of play that Tottenham have had in this game. They used the ball really well, and it's a good spot from the referee. It's a certain penalty. Cedric just bounces into the back of Son with no attempt to play the ball. Referee in a perfect position. Penalty.
It was clumsy from Cedric, wasn't it?
Well, he knows what he's doing. He knows he's struggling. He can't get across the face of Son. Son has got across him. The only thing he can do is try and bump him, but he's not subtle enough. He just smashes into the back of him. Son goes up in the air. It's a certain penalty. It was a really good cross, wasn't it? Flighted lovely towards the back post. There was three Spurs players bearing down on the ball, and they've got one of the best penalty takers in the business just lining this one up.
Well, they've also got the best man when it comes to scoring goals in North London derbies. Harry Kane, the top goal scorer in North London derbies. He's scored all 5 penalties against Arsenal in his tally of 11. He waits, poised. Harry Kane from the penalty spot against Ramsdale. Scores! He maintains his 100% record for the spot against Arsenal in North London derbies, and Tottenham Hotspur strike first. Spurs 1, Arsenal 0.
Well, it was never a doubt in my mind as to whether or not Harry Kane was cool enough, confident enough to slot that penalty home, and he just does it with such ease. You know, he's a predatory goal scorer, short run up, opens his body up, smashes it to his bottom right, Ramsdale's bottom left. Ramsdale goes the other way. And what a start for Spurs. Like I said, it was the first real passage of play, the first moment they've had a chance to assert themselves on this game with the ball, and they end up creating a really good opportunity and getting a penalty from that, which he's just dispatched with real confidence.
There's been a smoke bomb that has been thrown. In fact, two have gone off. One didn't quite reach the pitch away towards our left, but there is a blue one in Hugo Lloris's penalty area away towards our right. The only thing is, in the history of North London derbies, and this fact has happened the most in Premier League history, the team scoring first has failed to win this Premier League fixture 28 occasions.
It's high, isn't it? Very high.
Tottenham 17, Arsenal 11.
I saw Emerson pick up that flare as well and was waving it over his head, celebrating, and just thankfully he didn't do a Richarlison and throw it back into the crowd.
But it was an excellent penalty. Put it into the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah,
Harry Kane, so reliable, and his 12th goal in North London derbies.
I mean, he just doesn't waver, does he? These type of occasions, those type of scenarios, he's one of the best I've seen for having a cool head.
In fact, that's his 6th penalty then against Arsenal. Only Alan Shearer with 7 has scored more penalties against a single opponent. But the Spurs supporters are buoyant. 24 minutes played in a game that they realistically had to win. They're leading by a goal to nil. How do Arsenal respond after what had been a decent start from Mikel Arteta's side? They're a goal down. BBC Radio 5 Live.
Starting to smell the firework now. That flare's really letting off a bit of a stink, isn't it, Deno?
I don't know, I still can't smell. You knew that.
I was just thinking.
I haven't been able to smell since July.
Well, it doesn't smell great.
No. I can only imagine it's the... try and imagine what the sulphur used to smell like. Yeah. Lloris has lost the ball to Ødegaard and then he picks it back up. That was cruel, that Matt Upson.
Well, I just wanted to,
Those who are suffering with long COVID will know all about the frustrations of being nose blind.
Believe it or not, I actually forgot.
Yeah.
I'm not that cruel, then.
Anyway, Matt Upson is with us. He'll be at West Ham as well on Sunday. West Ham United against Manchester City. Everton Brentford to follow at 4:30. As the Tottenham supporters, almost to a man, woman, boy and girl inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, are on their feet and bellowing out when the Spurs go marching in. Yellow cards being shown here.
I was just thinking, Rob Holding cannot keep going that tight with Son. I know he wants to win the ball, I know he wants to apply pressure, but he's just got a yellow card, Rob Holding. That's a big deal for him at this stage of the game, and it's going through the back of Son. When he's got his body there first, you can't win the ball. You're only going to make a foul, and he's just made 3 in a row, and the referee's gone, bang, there's your yellow card.
Well, Arteta is apoplectic down there. He might well be going in the book soon. He's giving the 4th official quite a lot of grief. Dyer with a back pass to Lloris. The noise is so great here. There was an instruction from the studio, couldn't actually hear it, because Spurs are leading by a goal to nil. The ball played over the top from Dyer towards Kulusevski. Gabriel with a back pass towards Ramsdale. Kulusevski is going to continue to run towards Ramsdale, who passes the ball to Cedric. Forward ball, easily intercepted. Højbjerg finds Son, inside to Harry Kane. Harry Kane past Gabriel. Kane still going in the penalty area. Shot block, comes to Ederson. Right footed over the top, goal kick. Spurs still lead 1-0.
Wow, what a block. That was a great opportunity for Harry Kane. Spurs really on the front foot at the moment. The crowd fully behind them. And Arsenal playing out Cedric with a really loose ball into midfield. It gets turned over, flipped to Kane. He nutmegs Gabriel, I think, and then tries to go around Tommy Arsenal, who makes a brilliant lunging block just to put the ball wide, and Tottenham really seizing on that opportunity.
28 minutes played here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Bit of cloud just starting to float over the stadium here.
Is that going to be a problem for you as well? Just worried you can't smell anything, you can't hear anything. Can you see all right?
Well, if that goes, can you do the commentary?
If your eyesight goes, let me know.
I've still got the taste. Here is Cedric waiting to take a throw for Arsenal. Down the line he goes on the right hand side, and Sessegnon marshals the ball back safely and out for a goal kick. It's only the second ever meeting between these two on a Thursday, and it's almost 50 years ago to the day, the 11th of May 1972. Spurs won 2-0 at Highbury through goals from Ralph Coates and Alan Mullery. They're leading by a goal to nil here, but Arsenal are on the attack. Ødegaard, they go through the Tottenham half, plays it short. Xhaka with the shot, left-footed. The cheers will tell you it was high and off target, and off and into the south stand and out for a goal kick. Spurs still lead 1-0.
Quite like those day of the week stats, don't I? I'm sure I did read through the restart of football that Harry Kane, is he one of the only players who have scored on every day of the week because of all the jumbled up fixture dates? And he scored on every day of the week, hasn't he, Harry Kane?
Yeah. Well, if he hadn't scored on a Thursday before, well, in fact he had, because he'd got the hat-trick against Mura earlier in the season, didn't he, in the Europa League.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're probably right with Harry Kane, and he's at it again. He's given Spurs the lead. Martinelli rolling away in the challenge from Bentancur, helped out by Højbjerg, threw himself into that challenge, and the ball goes long and out of play for a goal kick. Lloris just having a word. Spurs, well, they were out of sorts when they met at the Emirates, but after Arsenal had made a good start, Harry Kane giving Spurs from the penalty spot the lead here in a game that is all to play for.
There's no surprise the two influential players in this game for Tottenham so far, is it? Son winning the penalty, Kane scoring it, and that for me probably is just the difference. Both teams have done okay. Tottenham starting to have a little bit more of the ball.
Højbjerg breaking through from midfield. Højbjerg with a cross. Harry Kane there. Cedric on the cover. Very good play, tucked in by the right back. Did enough to put off Harry Kane.
That was great from Cedric, really was. Credit to him for his position here. Again, the slick football that Tottenham are playing, and Højbjerg's the one running forward at the moment. The ball goes in behind Tomiyasu, he plays it across early. Kane's there, penalty spot just to slot it home, as Cedric comes and follows him all the way, makes a really good clearance.
Here is Dyer in the centre circle. Spurs still lead by a goal to nil. Davis passes the ball back to Eric Dyer. No pressure on the ball, almost at a nice, gentle, serene walking pace.
They're dropping off a little bit now, aren't they, Arsenal? I feel like they started pressing really high, but Spurs have hurt them a couple of times in behind, and I think they're just starting to realise that maybe we can't get up that high. You know, when that space goes in there, if Son gets marked, then Sessegnon's on the overlap, and we've just seen Højbjerg make that run as well, in behind Tomiyasu. Something Tottenham are really looking to try and exploit in those full-back areas from Arsenal.
Victory would take Tottenham to within a point of Arsenal with 2 games left to play. Spurs have Burnley at home and Norwich away. Arsenal are away at Newcastle. You'll hear that on BBC Radio 5 Live on Monday. And then they finish off the campaign at home to Everton. Kulusevski, short forward ball. Harry Kane manages to get away from Elneny to Son. Links up with Kane, edge of the area. Ødegaard dispossesses Son. Saka midway through his own half, back to Cedric. Spurs, they were pressing, and Saka runs the ball out of play for a Spurs throw. They take it quickly. Sessegnon dug out then by Højbjerg. The Spurs supporters want Tottenham to keep on going forward. Miscontrol the ball there by Emerson. Bentancur, they still have it, mind you. Here is Davis on the halfway line with 12 minutes to go to half time. Davis now runs forward. Højbjerg was the short option, back towards Bentancur, and now to Sanchez, just inside the Tottenham territory. Forward ball, Kulusevski plays it back to Sanchez, who passes the ball towards Eric Dyer, midway through his own half, and Spurs certainly seeing a lot more of the ball and starting to control it. Holding again, getting involved. Holding's in trouble. Holding's in trouble. There's the second yellow card, and there is the red. And Arsenal are down to 10 men. It's the 14th Premier League red card between these two. And Holding once again, persistent defending against Son. And Paul Tierney was left with no option. And Holding is dismissed.
Well, I I don't really know what to say, if I'm honest, because I just can't believe that if he has thrown, I haven't seen the replay yet, I'm just about to see it, but if he has thrown an elbow into Son's face at this point, given what he's done, he's just not trying to play the ball. It's almost overcompensating for the physicality job that he's trying to do on Son. And we've seen it on 3 occasions. He's got the yellow card, and this one Son's trying to run in behind. He's not so much as lashed out with an elbow, but he's just tried to forearm him off the ball. But because they're running at speed, Son's gone down, there is contact from Holding, and it looks really bad. And it's the type of decision that isn't going to get overturned, because it's not a clear and obvious mistake, or there's no issue with it, but it's just landed his team in a load of trouble. He's not focusing on the ball at all. He's totally focused on Son. And even though you would say that is him trying to rattle Son, it's gone the other way, because really Son's rattled him, because he's allowed himself to get drawn into just being physical, over physical all the time. You're always on an edge anyway, but it's just been too much from Rob Holding, and he's got himself sent off.
But what's that? The 4th time that he's gone very, very, almost, he's manhandled.
It's too much.
He's fouled Son on 4 occasions.
I said on the first one he's been clever there because he's got a little one in. Okay, early on in the game, job done. Then you settle down. And I think he's just gone, gets the yellow card. Now all of a sudden you think, well, I've got to be really careful now. I can't afford just to bump him off the ball or put the forearm across him. The ball's been clipped way over into Ramsdale. There's no threat from Son whatsoever. They're just running with momentum, and he just leans his forearm into him. That's the only thing I can think of why he's looked at it and thought, well, that's another booking. There's your second yellow, off you go.
The lack of discipline from Rob Holding will perplex many, because you're on a yellow card. You know, this is a player with, as the free kick is taken towards Sessegnon, with a lot of experience. What is he, 26 years of age? You know when you're on a yellow card in a contest like that, madness.
Crazy. It's just not thinking, and we touched earlier in the build-up to the game about the occasion getting the better of you. Well, there's case in point there, surely.
Well, it means now, if this is, there's been 7 penalties and 4 red cards now in the last 7.5 meetings in the Premier League between these two, and it also only one of the last 14 red cards shown in the North London derby have actually gone to a home player, and that was Gilles Grimandi 22 years ago at Highbury. But Arsenal are going to have to make a change. Ben White, who'd been a doubt with a hamstring injury, is getting stripped ready for action, so they're making a contingency plan. Arsenal, Spurs lead by a goal to 0. Arsenal are down to 10 men. Problems mounting for Mikel Arteta. 10 yards inside the penalty area on this left-hand side, Spurs have a free kick. Son to take it, right-footed, curled in, headed on by Harry Kane, and then headed behind by Tomiyasu. If he lets it go, it goes out for a goal kick.
I mean, yeah, just awareness, communication. Wasn't too sure where he was there, Tomiyasu, and that is the difference. You're playing on the opposite side. You can lose your bearings a little bit. He's not used to playing on the left, but should just duck out of that ball, and Aaron Ramsdale will be taking a goal kick. Instead, they're now defending a corner.
Corner kick to Tottenham Hotspur, far side the right, leading by a goal to 0 through a Harry Kane penalty, but Holding has just been dismissed. Son waits to take it, far side the right. This should be an outswinger. In it comes now, and the header! Headed on, and then headed into the far post by Harry Kane. He couldn't miss. Harry Kane in a double against the 10 men of Arsenal, who have a mountain to climb, and 4th place is certainly well up for grabs now. Spurs 2, Arsenal 0.
Well, it's just the reverse of the earlier fixture in the season, with Arsenal were off to a cracking start. This time it's Tottenham, and it's that man Harry Kane in at the back post, predatory instinct. There's nobody better. He senses where the ball's going to go, and it's just so interesting that it's from a set piece. Arsenal are without probably their best header of the ball in Rob Holding's just got red carded, and they just don't deal with it. I think it's Emerson Royale wins the first contact, glances it to the back post, and it's Nketiah who's tied up with Harry Kane. There's only one winner there. Kane ghosts into that back post area, onto his knees, diving header from about a yard out, just taps it in. And I'm looking at Antonio Conte. totally animated, celebrating with his staff, and what a start for Tottenham Hotspur.
Spurs are 2-0 up. They're set to go to 65 points, and Arsenal really are up against it. We've got 2 more spoke bombs that have been let off away towards our left-hand side. Harry Kane with a quick free kick. Emerson makes the run forward. He can't get there. Kulusevski might. Kulusevski keeps it alive inside the penalty area. Kulusevski goes to ground, and Ødegaard brings the ball away. Assistant referee's got his flag up on the far side. It's offside.
I mean, it's early to say, but it's almost like damage limitation at the moment for Arsenal. And it isn't the type of thing that Tottenham are going to just take their foot off the gas and think, well, okay, we're 2 up, with 10 men, they're going to want to really inflict some hurt here. And it's a North London derby, and rightly so. You'd expect the same from either team, to go all out, score as many as you can, and apply as much pressure as you can. And Tottenham are certainly doing that to Arsenal, who just can't get a grip of this game at the moment. They're in total shock and disarray.
Well, the other factor, of course, is the goal difference, and Spurs at the minute are a plus 22, and Arsenal, as a result, have just gone to plus 12. So in that respect, it's a superior and quite a significant,
definitely,
in Tottenham's favour.
Definitely. You think of what could happen in the next 2 games. Tottenham have to score as many goals as they can and really keep their foot on the gas. Xhaka's dropped into that left side of centre-back position, with Gabriel shifting over to the right-hand side just to add that balance. And it looks to be Saka who's just dropped into the midfield centrally, along with Elneny and Ødegaard. Not too sure if there's even a back 3. That have to wait till the game settles down a little bit, but there's some real tactical shifts that Arsenal are having to make.
Well, White was getting stripped for action.
Yeah.
They haven't yet brought him on.
You've got to think the rest of the season here as well. Arsenal lose this game, they're still 1 point ahead. Are you going to risk Ben White in this fixture redoing his hamstring that he's only come back for with holding suspended? Whether that's creeping into the mindset of Mikel Arteta at the moment.
Ødegaard has gone down as a stoppage in play. Paul Tierney has given the free kick in favour of Arsenal. You're right, Arsenal still have the advantage, albeit by a point, if Tottenham do go on to get the 3 points. However, Burnley at home on the Sunday, Tottenham could go above their North London rivals before Arsenal take to the field at St James's Park. And certainly Newcastle United will want to finish off what has been an excellent second half of the season on a high note at St James's on Monday night. You'll hear that on BBC Radio 5 Live. Antonio Conte's name, is being sung, and it reverberates around this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 2-0 to Tottenham Hotspur, and Arsenal, like you say, left reeling with the 2 Harry Kane goals either side of a moment of madness from Rob Holding, who has been sent off. 4 minutes to go to half-time. BBC Radio 5 Live, Højbjerg. But it's all Tottenham now. Here is Davis. Inside, Bentancur helps it on. Harry Kane in the penalty area. Harry Kane shot block. Comes out towards Sessegnon. Sessegnon floats the ball, far post. Emerson's arriving. Scoops the ball over the top. Goal kick. Spurs still lead 2-0.
Wow, just under siege at the moment, this Arsenal defence, and they're not coping. I thought there was too much space for Harry Kane to get this shot off, but there's a block from Gabriel who steps in, and then the ball floated to the back post. Emerson Royal arriving, whether or not Martinelli, who's in and around the vicinity, just does enough to put him off getting clean contact on the ball. But if he's not in the way there, Martinelli, that's a simple tap-in for Emerson at the back post, and it could have been 3-0.
I tell you what is likely to change. This is only the 4th time in Premier League history that teams 4th and 5th have met actually in the month of May. The team kicking off 4th has won the 3 previous meetings. That actually was the last time they met at White Hart Lane, when Arsenal won by a goal to 0 back in 2014. Not going to happen tonight, because Tottenham Hotspur are 2-0 up unless something extraordinary happens for the 10 men of Arsenal.
It would have to be extraordinary, wouldn't it, as well? Looking at how this game has gone, something very special would have to happen from Arsenal for them to get themselves back in this game at the moment.
You know what it's like when you're a fan on Derby Day. There's that nervousness, that sense of dread. There's a real buzz around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium before this game as Saka comes forward with Arsenal's worst fears are being realised. And Nketiah produces something there inside the penalty area, right-footed, and an acrobatic save by twisting Lloris, tips it over for a corner kick. Spurs still 2-0 up.
It's going to be something like that, isn't it? It's going to be a curled effort straight into the top corner, and then Nketiah on his right foot, he's going for that top corner, but Lloris is equal to it, gets a good leap and just tips it over with his right hand, called into action. And then Nketiah has got a lot of responsibility to try and drag Arsenal back into this game.
Corner kick for Arsenal. Saka to take it, didn't meet the first man, headed out. Not too sure what objects were being thrown at Saka as he waits to take the corner kick, but there were items being thrown at the England international as he prepared to take that corner kick down below us. Spurs lead 2-0, just over 60 seconds remain of normal time. Mikel Arteta will have to really gather in his players at half-time in that 15-minute interval and come up with something magical if they're to grab anything out of this game. Martinelli, though, coming forward now. Ødegaard shoots, scuffs it, left-footed, down into the ground, miss-hit it. Easy save for Lloris.
A chance, isn't it? Player of his technical ability. Not got the ball out enough to Martinelli so far in this game for me. He identified that side early on. He does really well, skips in and around, gets around the players, cuts it back to the edge of the box, and Ødegaard had plenty of space actually, a bit of time, but doesn't get the connection with his left foot. He's got the capabilities of bending that ball into the bottom corner if he strikes it well. Just like we saw Kevin De Bruyne last night. Did you see that, Denno? It was unbelievable, wasn't it? His left foot. How good was the ball striking?
Outstanding, doesn't do Kevin De Bruyne justice.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
And you'll see him, of course, in the flesh on Sunday as part of our commentary team for that game at West Ham United as Ødegaard. This is all about who finishes fourth. Spurs lead 2-0. BBC Radio 5 Live, and the stoppage time is up. The normal time is up. We're into stoppage time now. 2 minutes of added on time, and Tomiyasu at the back. Ødegaard. Now it's with Saka to Martinelli, hugging that left touchline and going forward for the red and white of Arsenal. Down on the outside he goes from Emerson. Bentancur comes across, and then it goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. Takes it quickly. Saka plays it back. Xhaka inside. El Neni. Every outfield player is in the Tottenham half away towards our right hand side. Here is Ødegaard. Goes square. Tomiyasu out to Cedric. Cedric does a little step over, can't get past Sessegnon, onto his left foot, swings over the cross. Emerson's tucked in, heads it away. Ball breaks towards Martinelli, edge of the penalty area, enters the box. Little drag back towards Saka, floats over the cross now, and Nketiah rises. So does Lloris, and catches the ball with both hands.
A good attacking play from Arsenal. You just had this little feeling of like, can they get a goal before half-time to, really take this game into half-time, being a little bit more involved, but good defending from Spurs, get lots of bodies back. Lloris very dominant in the air, and then Nketiah was never going to get his head on the end of that, and they've had a little reshuffle. Arsenal looks to be Xhaka on the left-hand side at the back, doesn't it, with Tomiyasu now right side centre-back and Cedric on a right-back, so Xhaka's in that left-back position.
Tottenham Hotspur, when they've been leading at half-time in the Premier League, have won all 13 games this season. There's only one of two teams who have a 100% record when leading at half-time. Brentford are the other, and Spurs with a 2-0 cushion to take into half-time against the 10 men of Arsenal. Antonio Conte will be very, very happy as he greets his players in a few seconds' time. It's all going Tottenham's way as Mikel Arteta chuntering down below with his arms folded in a charcoal grey casual sweater, and Paul Tierney with a half-time whistle signals the end of the first 45 minutes, where Spurs, thanks to Harry Kane's 2 goals, one from the penalty spot and a low diving header either side of a Rob Holding sending off, are certainly going to put pressure on Arsenal in that race for fourth. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Arsenal down to 10 men, 0 at half-time. Yeah, we've had a very inspiring story. There was a young lad by the name of Riley, who was born prematurely, has cerebral palsy, was told that he would never be able to walk again, and there he was walking in the penalty area in front of the South Stand, and it was his dream to score a penalty for Tottenham Hotspur in the stadium. The only problem is they didn't have a goalkeeper. So, and then all of a sudden, ready, prime for action was Pat Jennings to come out. Terrific ovation from both sets of supporters, and a really heartwarming story at half-time. And so, yeah, the young boy, only 5 years of age, a dream come true for him. As we're about to go here in the second half, and neither side has made a change. So Tottenham are Lloris in goal, a back three of Dyer, Sanchez and Davis, Emerson and Sessegnon on the wing backs, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Son, Harry Kane and Kulusevski. White shirts, navy shorts, playing from left to right in this second half as Spurs get the match restarted against Arsenal, who are down to 10 men after the holding sending off 12 minutes before half-time in their red and white tops and white shorts, and they haven't made a change. Did look at one stage as if White was going to come on, but they have Ramsdale in goal, and then you've got a back line now of Xhaka at left back, Gabriel and Tomiyasu as the two central defenders, Cedric at right back, and then you've got Elneny, Saka, Ødegaard, Martinelli and Nketiah. 2-0 down though, and Arsenal have it all to do in this North London derby after the dismissal of Rob Holding, who really only has himself to blame for a complete lack of discipline to leave his side up against it. And then we'll find Tottenham Hotspur just a point behind them in the race for fourth. Here is Højbjerg out towards the left hand side. Davis back then to the Danish international, sprays the ball across to Sanchez, couple of touches forward into the feet of Harry Kane. Harry Kane with his strength. Harry Kane might fall back towards Son. Tottenham have made a brilliant start to the second half, and Son's goal scoring streak continues, and it's North London derby delight for Spurs as they lead Arsenal by 3 goals to 0.
Wow, this pair, they're just pulling Arsenal to pieces at the moment, Harry Kane and Son. What a start to the second half. The look on Mikel Arteta's face is just stunned again. And it's that duo, that deadly duo for Tottenham that are doing all the damage here this evening. The ball's rolled into Kane, it's a lovely turn, he's wrestling with Gabriel, who just about stops him from getting a shot off, gets a little toe poke on the ball as he's laying on the floor. And who is it who's arriving in the right place? Who's instinctive enough? Who smells the danger? And it's Son with a real improvised finish. I mean, the ball pops out to him and he just kind of like skips the ball over everyone. He doesn't put his foot through it. It's such a delicate finish from Son. He sees the space in the far corner and just digs the ball with his instep, almost flicks it into the far post. It's a quality finish, it really is. And he goes flying off to celebrate with that South Stand right behind the goal.
22 goals for the season, 21 in the Premier League, and surely the 3 points are secure for Tottenham Hotspur now. And Antonio Conte was embraced by his coaching staff down below, and there is a real buzz inside this stadium. And a lot of the Arsenal supporters now, it seems, are already just starting to head for the exits as well, and I don't blame them at 3-0 down.
I mean, I didn't want to say it was game over before half-time, but I think you can use that term now. I mean, how Arsenal get back into this game, I have no clue, because they're just constantly under attack on this rampant Spurs team, and you fear that it's just damage limitation, isn't it? Just try not to concede too many. Spurs are in the mood.
Harry Kane just getting a talking to now from Paul Tierney. I mean, Spurs, if they are in the mood, they could inflict what could be a demoralising defeat against their North London rivals here.
I think you can take the word if out of that, Deno. They are in the mood. And why wouldn't you be in front of their home support in this amazing stadium, now kicking into that South Stand that holds that 17,500 of their own supporters? making some racket. I mean, they're really enjoying this evening, and it's the Arsenal fans that have to try and kind of get behind their team as best they can.
10 goals in his last 8 appearances now for Son. Very, very impressive. No penalties in that tally either, by the way, of 21 in the Premier League. Here is Kulusevski, not dealt with by Xhaka. Kulusevski into the penalty area, held up by Xhaka, almost manhandled by Xhaka, and then it goes away against Kulusevski. Referee Paul Tierney gives it in favour of Xhaka. Martinelli gets involved in a bit of a pushing contest now with Kulusevski. I thought he was very fortunate, Xhaka.
Well, I certainly didn't think it was a foul from Kulusevski. Xhaka doesn't deal with the initial ball, it goes behind, but then he does quite well to match Kulusevski. There's a bit of a tussle for the ball. Kulusevski slips, and then he just uses his strength. But what the problem is, and what Xhaka indicates to the referee, is as he's holding him off there now, I think he's just got a handful of his shirt. The referee, who has actually been in perfect positions this whole game, Paul Tierney, has really been spot on with his positioning and seeing all these key moments. Just sees him with a handful of shirt and he gives the foul.
Arsenal have a throw. They're 3-0 down. They're down to 10 men. BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. A wall of noise from that south stand away towards our right-hand side. In fact, it's a wall of noise, full stop, from the Spurs supporters. Oh, how they're enjoying tonight. Saka, nice touch up his left foot, runs forward over the halfway line. Ahead of him is Martinelli, takes it in his stride into the penalty area. Martinelli back towards Saka, and then eventually cleared away by Davis. It was a goal-bound shot blocked by Davis. It fell back to him, and lying on the floor, he managed to hook it away. That was a very threatening attack there by Arsenal.
Great move, really good move. Martinelli's first touch and his run was absolutely spot on. Great ball from Saka, takes it in behind. Sanchez just couldn't find the finishing touch.
Ødegaard plays it out. Cedric, shot charged down by Sessegnon behind for a corner kick in front of the travelling support of Arsenal. What is it, about 3.5 miles between the two stadiums. And Saka is going to take it over on that far side for Spurs, who lead by 3 goals to 0. BBC Radio 5 Live, 6 minutes into the second half. Corner kick to Arsenal, playing from right to left, far side to right. Saka, this should be an in-swinger. Nketiah, Gabriel, Tomiyasu. In it comes now, claimed by Hugo Lloris. Good claim as well with both hands, all in green, away towards our left-hand side. Overarm throw out. Bentancur. Just listen to the noise inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. If you're a football fan and Tottenham are not your team, you've got to try and come to this stadium. It is so impressive. Here is Sanchez. Infield towards Højbjerg in the centre circle. Son drops off, gets the ball now. Sessegnon not needed as he bumps ahead of him on that far side, the left. And the ball played back towards Dyer. And Dyer at a walking pace plays the ball back out towards Davis. Davis midway through the Arsenal half. Arsenal have dropped off. Dyer able to play the ball towards Sanchez. Harry Kane now midway through the Arsenal half to Kulusevski, inside to Emerson. Kulusevski was checked off the ball, still Tottenham play. Emerson and Kane try to combine on this right hand side. Martinelli is there to break it up. Gabriel chips the ball forward. Dyer easily in front of Nketiah, just threw him out of the way. Højbjerg wins the challenge. Emerson towards Kane, picks it up in towards Son, edge of the area, pulls it back. Emerson puts his foot on the ball, stopped by Martinelli outside the area, almost gives it away. Ødegaard under pressure, back into the penalty area. Tottenham pressing Arsenal.
I mean, I know that Martin Ødegaard's not that player, but that is a 50-50. Your team are 3-0 down, you're in a North London derby, and you're trying to nick the ball. He's got to go through him there, Martin Ødegaard. He's got to leave a mark and leave that ability to go and tackle and win the ball back for his team. Can't be that clever all the time, and Arsenal really got to roll their sleeves up here to stop this going even further than what it has done already. They've got to stop the rot and just try and get a bit of a foothold in this game.
3-0 down, the 10 men of Arsenal. Martinelli left-hand side, dinks the ball into the penalty area. Dyer clears the ball away first time. That bouncing ball towards the halfway line. Left of the centre circle is Gabriel. Elneny inside to Tomiyasu. Quite a high line though from Tottenham. Ødegaard now has it, plays the ball forward. Emerson tucks in, stops the run for Xhaka. Now with Kulusevski linking up with Bentancur and plays the ball ahead of his former Juventus teammate. They arrived of course together and have done well since they arrived too. For an Antonio Conte who really is putting his stamp on this Spurs side. The third top Premier League goal scorers under Antonio Conte. 54 in this their 26th match. It was 9 goals in 10 under Nuno Espirito Santo. They have their bit between their teeth. They have 4th place within their sights. And they're closing Arsenal down in that race for Champions League football for next season. Xhaka, Tomiyasu plays it forward to Ødegaard. Out it goes to Cedric. Sessegnon closes him down. Back to Ødegaard once again. Ødegaard rolls it to the edge of the D. Saka, little touch. Elneny. Xhaka playing as a left back, feeds it to Martinelli, held up by Emerson. They've doubled up on Martinelli, forced away from the penalty area. Inside to Xhaka. Elneny outside the box, back out it goes to Martinelli. Martinelli delivers the cross right-footed and it curls all the way out of play and out for a goal kick, and Spurs are still 3-0 up.
Well, if you feel that something's going to come from Arsenal, it's going to come from this left-hand side, and Martinelli, who for me has had a decent game when he's been on the ball. The problem is they haven't been able to get him the ball enough. But when he does, he looks like he's got the beating of Emerson Royal and Davinson Sanchez. He looks like he can throw them off balance and put the good delivery on the box, or drive at them and go past them. But Arsenal just happy, I think, to have a little bit of possession, Deno, and just be in the Spurs half for a little while and just not defending like they are doing now.
Bentancur tried to get Son away on the left-hand side, cut out by Tomiyasu. Ødegaard to Nketiah, peels away towards the right-hand side. Dyer goes across towards him. Nketiah fires over the cross, gathered in at his near post by Hugo Lloris. And then he just drops the ball gently in front of him to Eric Dyer. Howard, as a former England centre-back, what do you think about Eric Dyer's form? Could you see a potential recall to the England squad?
I think because they play a 3, it's an interesting one, Deno, and I think a 3 is the shape that suits him. I think as a centre-back pairing, I think he can get exposed, but if you put the right centre-backs either side of him, I mean, he's played a lot in midfield, he's very comfortable on the ball, he's got a lovely range of passing out from the back, Eric Dyer. And I think, again, another player that Antonio Conte has been good for, I really feel, because I think before he came to the club he was really struggling, and he's certainly improved his form underneath him.
Spurs lead 3-0. That's the voice of Matt Upson on BBC Radio 5 Live. Here is Dyer, the player who Matt's just been talking about, towards Sanchez. Emerson, right hand side. Sanchez goes square. Højbjerg gives it towards Davinson Sanchez. We thought they might miss Christian Romero with that hip problem. Not so. Spurs 3 goals to the good. 3 points surely in the bag. Sanchez to Emerson. Emerson on the right hand side, plays it back behind him. Kulusevski back towards Emerson. The two pass the ball to each other. Højbjerg now gets involved. Spurs just keeping the ball to the delight of their supporters.
Arsenal have got to keep this game competitive though. You're never going to have to work harder in an Arsenal shirt than at the moment. They've got to really dig in and get about the pitch.
Kane's cross, Emerson, brilliant save by Ramsdale. And Tomiyasu hooks the ball away. Such a strong arm. Kane's forward ball, Emerson's header, and it was a right-handed save by Ramsdale to prevent Spurs from getting a fourth.
What a cross, wasn't it, Harry Kane? Right-footed from the left-hand side, lovely curling in-swing up, picked out a perfect area, and it was a really good save from Ramsdale. Had to get a strong right hand on it. It was good header, good connection. Emerson Royal had drifted all the way in the pitch. Kulusevski had dragged Xhaka under the ball. Great delivery. absolutely spot on, just dropped it over Xhaka's head, and Ramsdale was able to make the save.
Here is El Neni for Arsenal, just shy of the halfway line. Tomiyasu forward and then goes back into the centre circle to find Gabriel. Antonio Conte once more being serenaded inside a stadium that has not been quiet all night. Xhaka, his forward ball cut out by Kulusevski. When you think back in September, after Arsenal had finished 8th last season, their lowest position since 94-95, Spurs 7th last season, their lowest finish in 12 seasons. The top four didn't really feel relevant to these two sides. It is certainly going to be very relevant for the remaining two fixtures of this campaign, as they scrap it out to see who will finish behind Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea. Assuming, of course, that Chelsea get the points against Leicester and Watford both at home. Spurs are on the attack. Son left-hand side over the halfway line, and then he turns and plays the ball back to Bentancur. Now it's with Dyer coming onto the ball outside the centre circle. Forward to Højbjerg, and now to Sanchez once again. Emerson just in front of Antonio Conte. Still he won't sit back and relax inside that technical area, as the Olays come out once more as Tottenham control possession and dominate this North London derby with an hour played on BBC Radio 5 Live.
I mean, Spurs can just keep the ball for fun now if they really want to. You know, they're trying to be progressive because they want to score more goals, but Arsenal's ability to get out and press at the moment is literally zero. So the ball's just being rolled across between Sanchez, Dyer, Davis, then into wide areas, and it's really at their leisure, to be honest. They'll hold on to the ball, and then when they want to give the crowd a little bit something to cheer about, they can go on a wave of attack. That is the luxury position that Tottenham are in at the moment, and like I just said a moment ago, you're never going to have to work harder in an Arsenal shirt than what they are for the next half an hour. These Arsenal players, they've really got to dig in.
Harry Kane picks it up, runs forward and shoots from distance, and Ramsdale two-handed tips the ball behind for a corner kick. You knew as soon as Kane spins outside the centre circle, drives forward, he's only got one thing on his mind, and Ramsdale was equal to the long-range effort.
Yes, that drop deep turn, drive with the ball, and when the ball's running away from you like it was with Harry Kane, he has that ability of getting that kind of top spin dip on it, which makes the ball move quite a lot in the air. Doesn't deceive Ramsdale, but makes him have to just parry it behind for a corner.
Corner taken short. Kulusevski to Emerson. It's a hungry Tottenham Hotspur who want more goals here at home against Arsenal, leading 3-0. Out towards Sessegnon. Højbjerg, Bentancur, against the 10 men, of course, of Arsenal after Holding's dismissal. Kulusevski to Emerson. Goes square, Højbjerg, central area, thought about the shot, instead passes the ball to Kulusevski, lays it off to Emerson, passes the ball to Son. First little layoff to Kulusevski. Son now makes the run forward, not picked out by Emerson, he's still loitering, but instead they've picked out Sessegnon, and there is Son! And Son, falling backwards, has skied it. What a movement that was from Son. It was almost a fourth. It probably should have been a fourth in Son's current form.
Well, it's like a carbon copy situation of their goal at Anfield the other night. Tottenham worked it wide. Sessegnon with the run in behind. And first time, really unselfishly actually, squares it to Son. I think there's just a bit of bobble on the ball. Doesn't get a clean connection, Sessegnon. And the ball's just bobbling towards Son, which is what put him off scoring. But certainly in the form he's in, I'd expected to see the net bulge.
You said that maybe one of the reasons why Ben White didn't come on, coming back after a hamstring injury on the bench, maybe with Newcastle in mind away on Monday or Everton at home, still to try and play a part this season. Well, Martinelli, who was certainly a bright spot for Arsenal early on, has just been replaced by Emile Smith-Rowe in the 64th minute.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's in Mikel Arteta's mind at this moment. You never give up on a game, you never down tools on a game ever, but he's got a bigger picture here. Arsenal can lose this game, go into those last two still in the driving seat with 1 point ahead, knowing if they win both those games they've done it. And I think it has to weigh on your mind as a manager. You have to plan for that, and I think you're right. withdrawing Martinelli at this stage, who's been a bright spark in the game for Arsenal. It does make you think whether he's got one eye on those two fixtures.
Saka heads the ball on. There's no one to give chase. He has to do that all by himself. Sanchez to Emerson, keeps the ball in play. Dyer tries to help it down the line, blocked though by the knees of Xhaka. Arsenal playing from right to left, 3-0 down to 10 men after Holding's dismissal. We've been playing for 64 minutes on BBC Radio 5 Live. At 10 o'clock we've got Steve Crossman coming up with the Euro Leagues. That'll be followed by Colin Murray, whose midnight mixtape at tonight, but he's on the air from 10:30, is all about 12 tracks at midnight with titles with hello in the name. I'm thinking from a Tottenham point of view, Arsenal in front of a full house here in Tottenham for the first time in 5 years. Neil Diamond's hello again.
I'm just thinking Lionel Richie.
Is it me you're looking for? As far as Arsenal are concerned, it'll be hello, goodbye. Wanting to hope that tonight is over and done with, banish it from their memory banks and turn their attentions to Newcastle on Monday, where they will have a point advantage in the race for top four. 65 minutes played in the atmospheric Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 3 goals to the good. Dyer towards Højbjerg. Sessegnon back towards Højbjerg once again. Kane on a hat-trick. It's 44 years since there's been a hat-trick in a North London derby. Here is Kulusevski running forward behind Bentancur, who'd gone on ahead of him, and Emil Smith-Rowe is there for Arsenal. And the ball played back to Ramsdale, controls the ball, passes the ball square, and Tomiyasu caught, checked, foul, free kick by Sessegnon, free kick to Arsenal.
He's done well to win a foul there, Tomiyasu. I mean, there's just no outlet. He's got the ball. There's 3 Spurs players swarming all around him. He's just tried to knock it through one and get it the other side, and he's been tripped and won the foul. But Arsenal just cannot get out of their own half at the moment.
Let's get an update from the Rugby League. Huddersfield Wigan. Hello, Dave Woods.
Huddersfield, hello. Huddersfield 18, Wigan 6.5 minutes of the second half played. Lewis Senior, his second try of the game. Brilliant long pass from Tui Lolohea to open things up for him. It's Huddersfield 18, Wigan 6.
Midway through the second half, Tottenham Hotspur 3, Arsenal 0. Ball played out by Ramsdale to Xhaka, takes it high on the chest, strokes it inside. El Neni, Smith-Rowe, just in front of his own penalty area, plays it towards Tomiyasu, out then towards Cedric, who gave away the penalty for the first goal for Tottenham. Now it's with Xhaka over the halfway line on this near side. Saka comes on the inside of Emerson, looking for Nketiah, and sliding forward off his goal line was Hugo Lloris.
Sliding out, gathering up the ball, so comfortable just to set the next wave of attack off for Spurs, and total dominance, total control of this game at the moment, and it's hard to even envisage this going in any other direction than more potential opportunities and goals for Tottenham at the moment. And I just think it's a case of how much energy they can put into this game. How important is that goal difference on their mind, whether or not they think they need to rack up any more goals to just make that even stronger. But it's just so easy for Spurs at the moment.
Well, they could have had another 3. As it is, they're leading by 3 goals to 0. The back pass by Cedric to Ramsdale, clears first time, right-footed, header forward then by Dyer. And a joyous Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with the exception of the travelling support from Arsenal, those that have remained. There are some empty spaces I can see over on that far side. Miserable night it must be for an Arsenal supporter. Here is Dyer. Sanchez. Midway through the Arsenal half. Bentancur forces Davis a little bit further out wide. Midway through the Arsenal half, just in from that left touch line. And then the ball is now with Sanchez once again. Højbjerg wanted it short. Kulusevski inside, finds Højbjerg. Not much movement, can't thread it through towards Son, broken up by Elneny. And then Ødegaard will try and run the ball away, but just hunted down by the white shirts of Tottenham Hotspur.
He's got to dribble past two players in order to do anything, but it's a shame that the game's gone to this, really, isn't it? I mean, you cast your mind back to that first opening 20 minutes there, it was brilliant, wasn't it? What a game to watch. It was so even, played at a ferocious pace, lots of movement, lots of good football, and since the sending off and the second goal, it's just, naturally not been anywhere near as competitive because Spurs have been so heavily in the driving seat that it's just kind of taken the sting out of the game massively. It's been an impressive evening from Tottenham.
Sanchez into Harry Kane, shot was blocked, comes to Kulusevski, his effort from the right hand side, charged down, cleared by Arsenal, flicked on by Nketiah, has to give chase himself, gets there ahead of Sanchez, over the halfway line, he's got to go to alone as Nketiah. Sanchez now is back goal side, Arsenal still 3-0 down with 20 minutes remaining on 5 live. Here is Saka to Nketiah. Nketiah goes to ground under the challenge from Kulusevski. Free kick to Arsenal, and Spurs are going to make a double change. Bergwijn and Lucas are the players who are going to be coming on.
That's quite an attacking mindset from Antonio Conte. Whether or not it's resting up, it's probably Kulusevski will be leaving the field of play. Maybe Son, but two players that pretty high energy, don't they? Steven Bergwijn has this amazing knack of coming on off the bench and really impacting the game, along with Lucas Moura as well.
Bergwijn is the most used substitute in the Premier League this season. It'll be his 23rd appearance off the bench. Under the dark North London sky, Spurs lead 3-0. Ødegaard with the free kick. Gabriel tried to direct his downward header into the path of Smith Rowe. It was blocked. It comes back out to Gabriel, right corner of the area. Uses his strength to hold off the Spurs challenge. Goes to Ødegaard from distance. He has to pop it back with his left foot, but it was a wayward effort from a good 35 yards out. It's a goal kick. Tottenham Hotspur 3, Arsenal 0. Matt Upson.
It was a off the bench Bergwijn that scored those goals at Leicester, wasn't it? Those important goals. And as I mentioned, that's the type of impact this player can have. For some reason, maybe he just doesn't, he might be a little bit too scruffy, shall I say, or not quite refined enough to be edging the players in his area of the pitch, like Son, like Kulusevski, like Harry Kane, to the starting position. But like I mentioned, he's so effective as a substitute, Steven Bergwijn. I know no player likes to hear that, but he really is, because he's very direct, he's very bustly, and it's Son coming off with Kulusevski to make way for those two.
Son doesn't look too happy to be coming off. He's got a consoling arm and a pat on the chest from Antonio Conte. So Lucas Moura has come on for Kulusevski for his 200th Tottenham appearance, and Steven Bergwijn has come on for Son, and Arsenal have made a change as well, and it's going to be Lacazette for Nketiah.
Again, another interesting change from Mikel Arteta. Nketiah has worked quite hard. He literally just got on the end of his own flick on a moment ago before he won that foul. Very much a lone figure, just down the centre of the pitch for Arsenal, trying to do his best to get hold of the ball and make something happen. But Mikel Arteta sees it fit to make a change and get Lacazette on the pitch.
17 minutes remaining of this, the 170th league meeting in the North London derby, where Tottenham Hotspur are 3-0 up with 17 minutes remaining. Still Son is not happy, complaining as he's being consoled on the bench down below, where Spurs are going to move to within a point of Arsenal with 2 games left to play in the race for fourth. The ball is hit by Davis, a diagonal ball. Emerson with a downward header. It falls to Lucas. Couldn't have a shot on the edge of the area first time. Cleared by Gabriel.
It's interesting how Son's reacted to that treatment from Rob Holding, wasn't it? I think he's shown tonight he's the type of player that you can't just try and rough him up or boot him and he's going to go away.
Ball floated in towards Harry Kane, and it loops into the air, and it's caught by Ramsdale.
And you feel like it's even stirred him up even more, Son. Wouldn't you agree? Like he's coped with that, got on with it, and really tried to hurt Arsenal with his football and with his goals, and he's achieved that tonight, Son.
Gabriel has just sat down in the penalty area.
That didn't look good then. I was holding his right hamstring.
Yes, he is. So Gabriel is going to wait for the physio to come, but he's touched it twice now, that right hamstring.
He knows. You know when you get that feeling, it's a very distinctive feeling, that kind of muscle, especially in a hamstring, really does bite you sometimes. And he's sat on the pitch, you can tell by his body language, his kind of shoulders are down, the facial expression is pretty clinical. He's explaining to the physio, and the right hand keeps grabbing that hamstring. If he feels that, then that could spell trouble for him over not just for this game, but with future important games to come as well.
But the fact that Ben White's on the bench and they're actually turning to Nuno Tavares tells you that Ben White is not in a position to return.
He's not going to use Ben White in this game. It was apparent from when Rob Holding got sent off. If he's fit to play and you're going to risk him, you put him on for Rob Holding at that point. But he didn't choose to do that. So for me, Ben White was never going to feature in this game, and it doesn't look like he's going to, even in this instance, with both centre backs off the pitch.
15 minutes remain. Gabriel is walking off unaided. They'll hope it's just a tweak to his hamstring on that right leg rather than anything more serious, but he's going to go straight down the tunnel, and Tavares comes on to replace him. A reminder that on Saturday we've got the FA Cup final. Mark Chapman with a build-up from midday. Chelsea-Liverpool live from Wembley at 4:45. Sunday, West Ham, Manchester City, John Murray and Matt from 2 o'clock, to be followed by Everton against Brentford at 4:30. The Women's FA Cup final on Sundays on Sports Extra, Manchester City against Chelsea. And next Wednesday we're live in Seville for the Europa League final, Eintracht Frankfurt against Rangers. The live football to look forward to on BBC Radio 5 Live in the coming days. Here we are on this Thursday night for the North London derby. And Arsenal with Saka on the right-hand side to Ødegaard, back to Tomiyasu in a central area in the centre circle. Rodon is going to be coming on for Tottenham Hotspur. They're going to make a third and final change in the closing stages.
It's worth noting as well that you're now looking at an Arsenal back four of Cedric at right back, Tomiyasu, Xhaka and Tavares.
Yeah. Tavares to Xhaka. Ødegaard, every white shirt back behind the ball. Ødegaard out towards Saka. Front of the Arsenal support, that remains inside the stadium at 3-0 down to Cedric. Cedric will pass the ball out towards the right. Smith Rowe, but they're playing in front of Tottenham Hotspur. Here is Tomiyasu to Xhaka. Well drilled, well organised, no way through past Tottenham Hotspur. Tavares on the left-hand side to Xhaka, doesn't deliver the ball first time, instead plays it short, gets it back from El Neni, back out to Tavares once again, level with the penalty area. Xhaka now delivers, in it comes, arcs its way into the penalty area, headed out by Dyer. Let's get an update from the Rugby League. Dave Woods.
It's 6 minutes played, Huddersfield 22, Wigan 6 now. Jake Wardle's just finished a real tight one in the corner. Huddersfield cruising, they lead 22-6.
Thanks, Dave. Going to be an abrupt end to Arsenal's winning run. 3-0 down as Ødegaard comes forward. Saka, right-hand side, enters the penalty area, plays it low, cut out by Højbjerg 6 yards out. Cedric delivers the ball in, claimed by Lloris.
Not for the first time this evening either. Hugo Lloris has made that look very easy. Really good timing. I mean, there's not much aerial threat in the box from Arsenal, it has to be said. The cross comes in from Cedric, but you don't really have any real faith that there's going to be an Arsenal head on the end of it at the moment, and Hugo Lloris has been very dominant in that 6-yard box this evening.
You think that this game was initially scheduled for January the 16th. Arsenal didn't have enough players. They had 11 players out, whether it be injury, COVID or the African Cup of Nations. 6 of those 11 actually started tonight's game. Cedric, El Neni, Xhaka, Tomiyasu, Ødegaard and Saka. Well, actually only one of those had COVID. That was Ødegaard. But Tottenham Hotspur now meeting them here in May and leading 3-0 with 11 minutes of normal time remaining on BBC Radio 5 Live. Ramsdale passes the ball to Tomiyasu, who brings the ball out of his penalty area and back to Ramsdale. But Spurs here are quite happy to let Arsenal have the ball in their own third of the field. You've then got to try and bypass Kane, Lucas, Højbjerg and Sessegnon as Bentancur just patrols that central area in the centre circle. Elneny out towards Xhaka. Rodon still waits to come on. Hit the ball over the top towards Tavares. Gets away from Emerson. Crosses the ball in towards the penalty area. And the shot from Ødegaard was straight at Hugo Lloris. Hit it first time. Lloris with the save.
Great run from Tavares. Gets in behind. Shouldn't do really at this stage in the game, but Spurs just fall to sleep a little bit. He cuts it back, and it's a similar type chance that Ødegaard had in the first half, isn't it, with his left foot. Doesn't strike it as cleanly as he wants to. He's a little bit frustrated with himself because he knows it's a good opportunity. It's still a bit of a half chance. He's got a lot to do, but doesn't quite make the most of it.
I would suggest that the Arsenal end in that corner on that far side is probably about half full now, such as the Arsenal supporters have drifted away with the disappointing scoreline. Tottenham, from their point of view, Tottenham Hotspur 3, Arsenal 0.
I'm not spotting any empty seats in the Tottenham support, surprisingly.
Nobody from a Tottenham Hotspur persuasion is wanting to leave tonight. Bergwijn on the half turn. Tomiyasu to Xhaka. Digs it out only as far as Bentancur. Bergwijn out to Emerson, right hand side. First time cross comes in. Sessegnon with a header, blocked. Elneny stops it. Sessegnon picks it up inside the penalty area. Sessegnon still going, managing to get away from Xhaka, and it's a goal kick, says referee Paul Tierney.
I think that may have been one of his own players got in the way of that header from Sessegnon. As the ball got flighted up to the back post, he gets up really well, gets a header on target. Emerson Royal just clips it into the middle of the goal. I think it's Lucas Moura in the way, hits his left arm actually. Wasn't a bad header from Sessegnon. I'm wondering if it had hit his teammate, it might have just nestled in that bottom corner.
Joe Rodon is going to be coming on, and it's going to be Ben Davies who is going to be coming off. Of course, he was booked after 17 minutes, and whilst Rob Holding lost his head, Ben Davies has maintained his discipline, and so Rodon, the Welsh international, comes on for the final 9 minutes of this North London derby contest. We're with you through until 10 o'clock before the Euro Leagues on BBC Radio 5 Live. Spurs still leading by 3 goals to 0. And you look at their form in 2022, only Liverpool with 45 points and Manchester City 39 have taken more points in the Premier League than Tottenham Hotspur, who, with 3 more points tonight, taking their tally to 35 and still keep alive their hopes of a top 4 finish. The reaction of this game, by the way, will be on the 5 Live Football Daily. A reminder as well, there is actually a new podcast available exclusive to BBC Sounds, all about the Open. There's Ramsdale's clearance to Lacazette, only as far as Sessegnon and Tottenham will come again. It includes an exclusive interview with Rory McIlroy for what is the 150th Open at St Andrews in July. Of course, it's the 150th anniversary of the FA Cup this weekend. Chelsea-Liverpool, you'll hear that on Saturday afternoon. We'll miss the Premier League. The race for top 4 is certainly well and truly alive and wide open now with this scoreline, Matt Upson.
Oh, it's blown wide open, isn't it? I mean, you have to look at Arsenal and say, well, they're still in the driving seat in terms it's in their hands, and I think at this stage of the season that's a massive plus, but it's just whether or not this performance and defeat, shall I say, how hard it's going to hit them. Can they pick themselves up for the next game and win that? Because you look at Spurs at the moment, you think, well, they're in a good place. The performance at Anfield last time out was absolutely exceptional, and you can see them picking up maximum points in their last 2 fixtures, which is going to really put the pressure on Arsenal. It's whether they can cope.
Antonio Conte is applauding all sides of this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Spurs are attacking. Harry Kane with a shot, charged down by Xhaka, falls towards Ødegaard. The worry for Arsenal too is that Holding will be suspended for the Newcastle trip away at St James's Park next Monday, live on 5 Live. Gabriel will be in injury doubt with that hamstring injury. Ben White, you would hope, from an Arsenal point of view, will be fit enough to return to the starting 11 after himself coming back from a hamstring strain, as Arsenal now with Tomiyasu out towards Tavares on this left-hand side. He can't get past Emerson. 6 minutes remaining. Not many Tottenham fans leaving early tonight. They want to soak it up, this atmosphere. And no doubt if they work with an Arsenal colleague, then rub it in the morning. That's what derbies are all about. It's the jeopardy of losing it. Regardless who you support, you never want to encounter one of your opposing fans the next day, probably for the next week really. Here is Xhaka, but Arsenal might yet still have the last laugh when it comes to top four, as Matt Upson has pointed out. Ødegaard central position, plays a short forward ball. Lacazette trying to link up with Smith Rowe. There was Højbjerg, and Højbjerg still going. But Spurs, one defeat in 9 now, and that was at home to Brighton and Hove Albion. They've won 5 of their last 6 at home, and they've scored at least 3 goals in 5 of those matches. There's a real feel-good factor around this Tottenham Hotspur stadium. El Neni to Ødegaard. Now it's with Xhaka once more. Spurs still trying to close down the spaces. Lucas dispossesses Tomiyasu, held there by Smith Rowe. Going to be a yellow card for the Arsenal substitute. Free kick to Tottenham.
Well, Lucas is one player that you don't want getting the wrong side of you and building up a head of steam. He's lightning fast and good pressure from him. Turns the ball over, and Emile Smith Rowe has little option just to tug him back really in the middle of the pitch. Otherwise he gets a couple of yards away and he's just driving into space, and Arsenal would be in big trouble. But I have to say they've consolidated quite well, Arsenal. This game could have gone really horrible, Deno. I mean, it's obviously bad, it's 3-0, but I mean, it could have really gone into a place that really isn't pleasant. And they've just tried to hang in there, scrap away, and the energy and the pressing's been there from them.
Let's get another update from Huddersfield Wigan in the Super League. Dave Woods.
It's Huddersfield 22, Wigan 14. 2 tries in 3 minutes for Wigan. Has put them right back in it. Sam Halsall in the 61st, and a moment ago, high kick downfield, the ball bounced. Alice Miski got it and passed to Matty Nicholson, the 18-year-old on debut, scores a try. Wigan back in it. 22-14, kick to come.
Thanks, Dave. Just under 4 minutes of normal time remaining here. Tottenham still leading Arsenal by 3 goals to 0. They're going to extend their unbeaten run at home in the league against Arsenal to 8, which is their best run since between 1960 to 1968. And it will be 3 consecutive home league wins for the first time since August 1961. A perfect time for Spurs to keep alive their Champions League qualification dreams for next season. Ramsdale waits to take the goal kick here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and he ushers every player in the red and white to go forward.
Rightly so. I mean, I don't know why they're dropping short and looking to play out. They're under total pressure. They've not got the number advantage at all. It's so hard to play out of your own box, and he rightly ushers them up the pitch and kicks it long.
Ramsdale with a clearance, Sanchez with a header on, helped on by Lucas. Xhaka heads it back into the path of Lucas, who runs forward, caught by Ødegaard. No, it was El Neni, I think he's... Well, I thought Ødegaard with a foul, but he pointed at El Neni, the referee, Paul Tierney.
It was Ødegaard who pulled him back. It's definitely Ødegaard with the foul, but I mean, is there another player that you see in the Premier League that when they go past someone, the acceleration he has, Lucas Moura, to get away from his opponent is unbelievable, Deno. I mean, he's just got this little 2-yard burst that comes out of nowhere and just leaves anyone for dead.
Yeah, Ødegaard it was with the yellow card. 2 minutes remaining. That's the voice of Matt Upson on BBC Radio 5 Live. Spurs still lead by 3 goals to 0. Here is Dyer just standing still, and a lazy swish of the right leg as the ball reaches him, and he gets it back from Rodon.
I mean, other than the opening 10-20 minutes, it's been a breeze, hasn't it? The Spurs back players have been so comfortable, dealt with anything that they've been thrown at them, and there hasn't been a lot in that way. But it's just been a very comfortable game for the whole back three of Tottenham. Far too comfortable from Arsenal's perspective.
Here is Harry Kane. A brace of goals tonight. Emerson to Lucas, the substitute. Stumbling there was Tavares. Lucas tries to go on the outside of him, but Tavares stood firm, but then actually has tripped Lucas to give away a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur, almost level with the penalty area on this near side the right as they play from left to right. 60 seconds of normal time remain. It was a moving ball, they tried to take it quickly, did Spurs. Højbjerg is desperate for the ball just to be knocked back to him. Arsenal, after that holding sending off in the first half, was still trying to get into position, but Højbjerg is now happy and content for Lucas to take it.
Well, Spurs have thrown everyone up as well. Dyer, Kane, Rodon's in the box.
Lucas, does he go for goal as he swings that one over? It had Ramsdale backpedaling furiously towards his far post. It drops onto the roof of the net and out for a goal kick. Spurs still 3-0 up.
Yeah, I don't think he meant that, Lucas. He wanted to cross that ball. He puts his hand up in an apologetic fashion, but he just tried to curl that one in and he just overhit it.
Spurs, who have lost 5, or had lost 5 of their 9 London derbies this season, couldn't afford to lose this one, and they've responded with 2 goals from Harry Kane and Son. The double axe at it again that could yet propel Tottenham Hotspur into the Champions League for next season. Something's just been said to the referee Paul Tierney, and Xhaka has been shown a yellow card as we now enter 2 minutes of stoppage time. Certainly Arsenal cannot afford another sending off in the latter stages of this North London derby here on 5 Live.
Xhaka's got to keep it together. He can't have a meltdown at this moment in the game. There's nothing to be gained from that. I'm sure he is frustrated and wants to say his piece, but you've just got to get on with it, almost suck it up, see this one through and then regroup.
Ball headed away by Sanchez. Lucas in the challenge with Xhaka. Out it goes for a Tottenham Hotspur throw that Lucas will actually leave for Emerson. 60 seconds remaining. I think we'll get reaction in time before 10 o'clock when the Euroleagues takes over. Tavares with a late barge into the back of Emerson. So that'll be on the 5 Live Football Daily as Matt Upson will dissect this North London derby with Alan Hutton, where Spurs will move to 65 points, a point behind Arsenal with 2 games left to play. The cheers will tell you when the referee Paul Tierney blows the full-time whistle. We're about 28 seconds away from that actually happening. Spurs 3-0, 3 points safe. And in all honesty, they felt like that with that sending off of Rob Holding in the 33rd minute. Lucas, forward ball, cut out by the Arsenal defence. Emerson back to Lucas. He was caught, he's gone down holding his face. VAR will have a look at that. Paul Tierney has stopped play because there's a head injury as Emerson is down, head into the ground.
Was it Xhaka? Lacazette with the contact.
I think it might have been Tavares.
Was it Tavares? As he just comes through, he lays it off. It's almost like a bit of a shoulder from Tavares. Left shoulder, just pops it into the face of Emerson Royale. A bit of a body check really that the referee hasn't seen, and just drops the ball back to Xhaka, and it's an Arsenal ball.
And there's no need for the uncontested drop ball because the referee has blown his final whistle, and Tottenham Hotspur, with a resounding success, have beaten their North London rivals by 3 goals to 0. 2 from Harry Kane, 1 from Son, after Rob Holding was sent off in the 33rd minute when Arsenal were only trailing by a goal to 0. It's a significant win. It takes Spurs to within a point of Arsenal, who hold on to 4th for the next 2 matches as the Premier League campaign draws to a close. Are going to be very, very interesting as the 2 North London sides slug it out. But here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Spurs have gained a 3rd consecutive home league win against Arsenal for the first time since August 1961. Spurs 3, Arsenal 0.